Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Extras. All right. So, we're going to talk a little bit about extras today on our Patreon. All right. So, we are actually live on about four or five platforms here for Alien Strand and Alien Strand Disclosure Project on YouTube. We are live on X. We are live on, we're actually live on our audio. We're doing the test right now, so that way we can be straight up audio and live with the live feeds that we have going on at the same time. But you know what I want to talk about today is, hey, did you check out my new hat? Check out this new hat, just came in today. Um, Mr. Dwayne Belcher. He was on our podcast a few weeks ago, and he sent me this nice hat. He sent me a nice sweater. He got me. Sent me some shorts. This is his brand right here. This is what he is. This is what he does. Um, and it's something important that he believes in, right? And it's something that you believe in. You should just full heartedly just go for it all the way, man. And It says right here, it says, "Open your mind. We are one." So this is his brand. I'm gonna put my head a little bit closer. You see. There you go. And it's a nice logo on the shirt too, and shorts and everything. So thank you, Mr. Dwayne Belcher, for that. Hey man, I really appreciate that. I am sporting it on our show today. Remember, this is Alien Strand as well. I just want to kind of touch base with you guys because we are live tonight, or today actually. It's still kind of gloomy outside, a little cold out here in South Texas. Us cold is like 60 degrees, man, and we start bundling up like freaking Eskimos. We're not used to that really cold spills like it is up north, where you guys get in the 30s and the 20s, even in the teens, automatically. But it's a drier climate right here. It's a wet climate. Unfortunately, our wet climate with the humidity, it just makes that air just so crispy, and it kind of sticks to you, and it gets you real cold really fast. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about today was just don't forget we have our Alien Strand extras, and the reason I'm bringing this up again because I hope you guys just go check this out. Just download the Patreon app. Go look for Alien Strand there on extras, and you'll find a lot of good stuff there that we are actually starting to promote there on Alien Strand Extras. I'm actually doing different podcasts, okay? Not these regular podcasts that you see on this live feed or all these other feeds. These are different stories. These are different things, different topics that I'm talking about. Like I said, the last one that I just did was on the Pulsar project, right? And the reason I talked about this, I even talk about this some more because the Pulsar project, it was about a scientist that was able to work with extraterrestrials from the 1950s all the way to 1990s until he had to go into hiding because he gave all his information to these people, and they made a little booklet out of it, right? And it has all his information in it. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up again is because if you're a part of Alien Strand extras there on Patreon, if you are a paid member, I'm giving this to you as a download. Okay, this is a very it's not classified, it's not declassified. All right, it's just a piece of information that's out there that nobody really gets a hold of, right? And I have it, and I'm giving this to the my members that are there with us. So if you're a paid member, you get to download this for free from there. It's a nice thing to have. These are little perks to have with Alien Strand. I try to get out as much as information as possible to all you guys, and like I said, me and Terry Lynch, we had a podcast last night, and we were able to give out a lot of information on the things that he caught there on Paulina Peak and out there at the hole in the ground. Really, hole in the ground, like he said, it was a big crater. Right, that's out there in the middle of Oregon, and if you look it up on Google Maps, so go to Google Maps and you'll see it. It's called Hole in the Ground, and it looks like a giant crater, like the one he was talking about up in Nevada. Now, there is another one that's an actual crater as well that we passed by. I believe it's in Arizona. All right, so it's coming out of, it might be the same one, man. Hell, I don't know. So it's coming out of Sedona, Arizona, going back into New Mexico. So we ended up passing up this place that had it was like a big old meteor place, and it was a big old hole there too. So hey, man, we just think that a lot of these places possibly have a lot to do with extraterrestrials, possibly because he every time he goes to these places, where that place there is called Hole in the Ground in Oregon, he's able to see see a lot of UFOs just come on by, start passing by. So now they're starting to do the CE5 thing where they're using the laser pointer is very important, but it's a good thing. And as long as you're careful with it, don't point it at airplanes when they pass by, because you don't want to do that. You're going to be breaking a lot of rules, and they're going to come looking for you. So these are just for ufology, and whatever you want to try to find up in the sky. These are the things to tools to have, right? And then we have a lot of cool apps that you can have, for analyzation. There's Pixlr, Pixlr. It's called Pixlr. There's another one called V2 Art. Now, if you're into getting your photos, when you do snapshots of them, and then you analyze them through all these filters, right? And through a spectrum, to where you can actually look to see, you can see that electronic magnetic field around these crafts, right? So, and these are the things that you want to learn while you're doing ufology, right? Because ufology is a big thing, and it's starting to grow, man. More people are actually getting into ufology. It's a cool thing too, man. It's not just trying to contact aliens and get contact or get taken away or all that good stuff. No, it's almost like a kind of hobby too for a lot of folks. So you can actually make it a hobby to try to kind of film some stuff up in the sky. Or, believe it or not, most of the uh, crafts that they do catch up in the sky are actually during the day. Right, so they're more the day than the night. Daytime shots are always the best ones to find, as far as UFOs, things like that up in the sky. Like I said, I'm glad you guys are watching today. I am totally live on audio. So if you're on Spreaker right now, if you have the Spreaker, Spreaker, yeah, Spreaker app, download that app. It's going to show us live right now. So you get to hear us live as we're talking right now, and as we're live on all these audio and video podcasts, right? So, I just want to bring I want to bring this platform to you guys' attention, because it's a pretty cool platform. It's not just me. We do have some free stuff on there, so you can actually join with us for free, man. And I do throw free content out there as well. But for the paid subscribers, you get a lot of extra content. You get behind the scenes. A lot of my guests that come on, there's a couple of behind the scenes where we get to talk, and more conversations that you guys don't get to see on a regular podcast, right? So, because I do keep them around 45 minutes to an hour, unless I'm with Mr. Terry Lynch, and me and him like to talk, man. Even off the podcast, him and I could have a 2 hour conversation, just ourselves, just talking, shooting the breeze, or whatever. We just he's my best friend, and I'm his best friend, right? Because we get along so well, and we just we know what we're trying to do here, and we're trying to help people, and we're trying to get disclosure out there. So, and this is why I'm trying to bring this Patreon out to you guys. It is free too. And I'll to the paid subscribers, you see the shirt there on the left, the white one. I will be giving away these shirts right here. It's gonna have a nice, cool emblem in the back, and then it's gonna say extra Alien Strand extras on the front left pocket. I'll be giving away this shirt to our paid members, right? And I'm getting those made as we speak, and we're going to have those out to our paid members. And then, of course, there's the two on the right, the coffee cup, and then there's the shirt for the middle too, for the movie that's going to be coming out here pretty soon. Those are for like extra perks, like for $5 more a month, you can for 3 months, right? You get the coffee cup, right? And just at one time, right? And then they just go right back to $5 a month. So, and the shirt is actually like $10 a month for 3 months. Bam, and then they'll send you the shirt. So after the 3 months, okay. So this is how it works, and there's a free stuff too. So we even have a lot of free stuff where you don't have to pay to subscribe, but paid subscribers do have a lot of good perks, right? That comes with it. That's a cool shirt. I don't care what you say. That's a cool shirt. I'm going to get me one myself. We're all going to be wearing these shirts because we all believe that Alien Strand Extras is a cool thing for you guys to be a part of, man, and just join with us, man. Just like I said, download the Patreon app, and you can check that out, and get all the extra stuff. I'm going to be getting out an extra podcast, extra two podcasts on extras. All right, so if you guys stick around, I'll be getting actually Elizabeth Jeffries. I'm going to be getting her on the show because I had a podcast with her when I first started. This was in 2019, right? So she was like one of my third or fourth guests that I had on, and I was so green and so new to this stuff that my the sound, because the program I had just got it, and I wasn't really familiar with it, but I was so excited to get the information out. that a lot of the music was it was blaring super loud. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna talk about the stuff that she saw, and she's on our film too. The Middle. So if you watch the movie The Middle, she's in that one. She's talking about the lights that just kept coming down from the sky, right? And it just kept on blinging everywhere around her when she just first moved to that to there in Pecos, New Mexico, where it was all empty field at the time before any development was made. So she got to witness that and a lot more things out there, right? So we're going to get her on the show so you can guys can hear her one on one, and this is going to be on extras only. Okay, so you'll be hearing that. Like I said, this last podcast that I did talk about was the Pulsar project. You know, I talked about Hynek. I talked about the scientists that went into hiding, things like that. You know, because he put in a lot of information inside this booklet that people should know about, right? And so I don't know if you guys caught the podcast that Mr. Terry Lynch were talking about last time. We were talking about how these the Nazca mummies last night, how they're kind of tied into um this book, right? Because this book, the Pulsar Project, it gives you a lot more detailed information on the extraterrestrials, how they hibernate, how they duplicate, you know, how they make more extraterrestrials, and it I mean it goes down to the cell, the genome. I mean, if you're a freaking scientist or anything medical, you'll be able to read this small booklet, you know, and you'll be able to decipher it a lot better than, you know, us regular Joe Schmoes people out there. You know, there's a lot of smart people out there that can actually read this, the just the science of these things. Now, this is what we were talking about last night. The eggs that are inside of the female called Suye, right? That's what they called her for the Nazca mummies, Suye or Mary, I believe that's what it was. So when we talked about the eggs that were inside of these Nazca mummies, well, one of them, and this was the small ones. This is not one of the real larger ones. And if you notice, it had that fin in the back, things like that. We were talking about that it possibly could have been some kind of reptile looking one, right? And it's got the three long fingers, things like that. You know, the head shape and everything is too much. It's got a lot of humanistic uh, just categories, and it's actually on just the physical part of this creature that we're seeing here right now, right? So when we talked about it last night, you know, I told Terry, I said, man, dude, that's when I was reading the Pulsar project, you know, it was talking about how these things were made, you know, how the cell starts, and then it actually starts turning into an egg, right? And then that's how these things are actually forming and they're made, these small grays. Um Sort of like a gray, right? Because there's a Zeta 1, there's a Zeta 2, there's like different types of extraterrestrials that I do list on this Pulsar project when you watch it on Alien Strand Extras. So I do show the pictures of all these extraterrestrials, but they all kind of it lined up with me when we started talking about that last night, right? Because we always talk about, well, what is it that they wanted, their agenda of survival, right? When they do the abduction, right, they take the male sperm, of course, and then they take the female the eggs from women, right? And they actually infuse that with their own to make some sort of a clone sort of creature, and that's what we talked about, right? What if they did this 1,000 years ago as well, right? And but the thing that puzzles me the most, right, is that if these things are so smart and they're the ones that created us and they're the ones that did all this stuff, like, you know, some folks say, you know, that they had some kind of they had their hand in our DNA to make us, right? All right, got to think about this just for a minute, right? So if that's the case, then why do they look the way they do? And why can't they reproduce themselves to look exactly like us? In other words, so if they got it so perfect, then why is it that way? And why would they just need our eggs or anything? If they made everything, why do they need us for? Right? They already have everything. They should have everything. You think about that, right? As intelligent as these things seem to be, as we talk about. So there's, you know, I question everything. So just remember that everything that I do, everything that I talk about, I question everything. Only because, not that I don't believe or not that I do believe. I do believe there's extraterrestrials out there. I just think that the narratives are a little bit different. They're kind of confusing at times, right? It can be confusing, but and there are going to be different, I get it. There's going to be different kinds of extraterrestrials, because even in that book, the Pulsar Project, it talks about over 160 different kind of alien species from different parts of our constellations, right? Orion, from Zeta Reticuli constellation. They talk about different extraterrestrials that are all over the place, right? So I get that part, okay, but it's just kind of hard to think about that they had some kind of manipulation in our DNA to make us, right? Because if they had it perfect back then, they should have it perfect now, right? And they should just keep on making them in different planets or whatever it is, and not look the way they do. Um, in other words, they and then they might be changing themselves, right? But they just can't get it right, because you see the big eyes on a lot of these clone, kind of half human, half clone DNA, these things that they are making, right? Because when people get abducted, they say that they take their eggs, they bring them back, they bring the children back later on. At least they give them one visitation to let them see the children as they've grown, as maybe probably look like 8, 9 years old, and their eyes are huge. They say their eyes are big. They almost look human, but they've got big eyes. Their facial structures are a little bit different, but they knew that those were their children, right? So these are the things that I question, of why these things happen the way they do to folks, right? And when I do this Alien Strand and Alien Strand extras, I just dive deep into a lot of these things, and these things that I think about, and I think that you should think about as well, because we always keep an open mind, right? And that's what it says on this hat: keep an open mind. We are all one, right? So as far as a human species, right? So just kind of I wanted to bring this to your guys' attention, and just kind of remember the things that I do here, and I don't wear a tinfoil hat. No, I am a normal human being, just like all you guys. This is just, I love this subject, right? I love to talk about it, and it's just like going to school, man. And we try to teach you um, about ufology, about UFOs, about crafts and how they work. We're still trying to figure that out ourselves, right? But at least we can get a some sort of an idea of what we're looking at, when we're looking at up at the sky, right? So, I mean, like I said, if you're liking these podcasts with audio, and you like them with the video, just give us a thumbs up. Please share these podcasts, so people around can actually get a hold of this information, because this is what it is. It's information, it's content, and I hope you guys really enjoy this stuff. Oh, and I'm going to show you something real quick, and I'm going to read it to you, for you, the people out there that are in audio world that are listening right now as I speak. Um, I did this on RH negative, right? So, and I'm because I'm coming right to it. The possible RH traits, and this is why a lot of these extraterrestrials are uh, possibly, okay, possibly attracted to human beings of the RH negative blood, right? One is going to be extrovertebra, right? Another one's going to be they have a higher average IQ. And the next one is going to be they have more sensitive vision or senses. This is RH people. They have lower body temperatures. They have a little bit of a higher blood pressure. They have increased occurrence or psychic or intuitive, I'm sorry, abilities, right? So they're kind of, if you're a person that has kind of like psychic, a little bit abilities, intuitive, you know what's going to happen before it happens, you're probably a candidate, right? They're predominantly blue eyes, green eyes, or hazel eyes. These are the RH negative people, right? That either have red or reddish kind of hair. The increased sensitivity of heat or sunlight. So if you're sensitive to heat, you're sensitive to sunlight. This is what they're attracted to, right? This is the kind of human being or species they're attracted to. And if you are RH negative, you cannot be cloned. In other words, I talked about this in this podcast that your RH is it's going to be more difficult to clone. You know how they've already cloned a cow and a sheep and probably a dog by now, but they don't want to. I mean, believe me, they don't want to get old Nana, and reclone her, because even if she's Rh negative, it ain't going to work. So this is basically what it's saying: you cannot be cloned on Earth. So in other words, it's the higher rates of alien abduction or any unexplained phenomenon. So if you're this person, Rh negative, and you have unexplained phenomenon, you're going to have a higher rate of an alien abduction. This is just all it's telling you because of the data. This is the data that they grabbed from, I believe, from everywhere, from MUFON, UFO Global, everything like that. So this is what they found out through abductions that have happened for two folks along the years. I mean, I'm talking 50, 60 years, possibly, right? So, and it's something to think about, right? And they people even have these meetings as well with a lot of these folks, right? Um, uh, with these extraterrestrials. And it's kind of strange, I showed this in one of my Alien Strand extras, and I'm going to show it to you today so you guys can see it in visual world out there, in video world, and you'll be able to hear it in audio. So if you're listening today on audio, check this out. It's probably about 8 minutes long or so. Man, no, I'm sorry. It's probably about 6 minutes long, maybe a little less. I could be wrong, but it's an old 1961, I believe. This happened to this gentleman, and just check this out. Listen to what he has to say.
Where do you meet someone from outer space? Perhaps in the North Woods. Joe Simonton of Eagle River, Wisconsin, spins a yarn about an April morning in 1961. A morning when, he says, he came face to face with another world.
Right here is where this flying saucer, this UFO, landed. Right here about where I'm standing. And it was a big, huge thing, and I wondered what the heck it was. I was in my kitchen having a bite of lunch, and I turned around, put the dishes in the sink, and I looked out the window, and that's when I first saw this thing coming straight down, just like an elevator. And first I thought the roof went off of my house, and I thought, no, the roof is green and this is bright. What the heck is it? So I rushed out to see what it was, and by that time there was a hatchway opening up in the top of it, just like the trunk of your car. And in there stood a little man. I say a little man, about 5 foot tall, holding up a jug or a container, and he motioned he wanted to drink. He motioned for water. So I walked up to him to get this jug, and I looked at his eyes, and they were so penetrating that I had to look away. So I went to the basement to get this water, and I thought, well, they want water, so I'll take it up to them and see what happens. And with that, I brought the water up, and he was looking at me when I first came out of the basement, but I didn't look at his face until I got right up to him. Then I looked up, and I handed the jug up with both hands, and I had that same look in his eyes, a sort of a penetrating look. And when he took the water, I balanced myself with this hand against the machine, and I stepped back a few steps. And then with that, he set the jug down, and he gave me a salute with the back of his hand, a gesture of thanks, I presume. And then, well, I gave him my salute. What am I going to do? So I noticed this little man, same size of a man, right by the right side of the hatchway, cooking these pancakes, which I have one here yet. He was frying these pancakes, and I pointed to him and made a gesture like eating. I thought maybe I'd get a conversation out of him. Nobody was saying anything. But he didn't say a word. He just reached over and he got a handful of them, 4 of them, and he handed them down to me. And they were hot and greasy. And this man cooking these pancakes, it was on a square grill-like concern. I couldn't see any flame, but it seemed to be very hot. There was smoke coming from it. And if that was their food, God help them, because I took a bite of one of them, and it tasted like a piece of cardboard. And if that's what they lived on, no wonder they're small. And with that, he reached up and he closed this hatch with a heavy thud click like on it latched. And you couldn't a bit more see where that hatch was than you could see a hole in my hand. And with that, the thing started to raise just like it came down. Everything was timed perfect. It went up about 20 feet. It tilted at 45 degrees straight south and shot off. And within 2 or 3 seconds, it was out of sight. Well, there I stood in the driveway with a handful of greasy pancakes and my mouth open, wondering what the heck I'd saw, what had happened.
Well, I don't know about you, but I don't think I would have eaten those greasy pancakes. Oh my God. Uh, but what do you do in 1961, right? This thing lands in front of him, and it's actually cooking something, right? And it wants water. So I guess what do we know if it was maybe choking or something? It's a possibility. And they gave him a pancake to say, "Hey, thank you. Here you go." But I don't know what they were eating, and I don't want to know what they were eating because we don't really know. But he says it tasted like cardboard, and that's probably why they were so small. But like I said, I wanted to bring that to your attention. You have to remember, like this is how they acted back in 1961, right? And Wisconsin, that was where I was at. And the way we are now, it's totally different now, right? So you got to think about it. It's very innocent the way they spoke back then. They just didn't know anything. They didn't have the technology even of anything. So everything they just spoke, they just said it like it was, and he thought nothing of it, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I just wanted to bring this to you guys' attention of how we're doing things at Alien Strand on Patreon. So these are like the little things that you'll be seeing on Alien Strand Extras on Patreon. So remember, it's called Alien Strand Extras. They're on Patreon. We do have the regular subscription. It's $5 a month. You join up, man, with us, and you'll be getting a lot of little things. We have the nice, cool little stickers here that I'll be giving away. I'll just be asking for your address and another perk too. So there's on Alien Strand extras there on Patreon, there's an actual chat room, right? So I can chat with every single one of you guys all at one time. Everybody gets to talk with me at the same time. Even after our podcast, we can just start chatting right away and talk about it. So these are a lot of good things that you can have on, and it's a totally separate thing. So you're not in a group or anything. This is just totally just for that, right? Or totally just about this podcast. So I hope you guys go to Patreon, just download it. It's just like a player or whatever. It's almost like if you have Spotify or iHeartRadio on your phone. This is basically what it is. Not just my podcast. There's other podcasts out there. A lot of great stuff out there that you can actually listen to. And this is your personal kind of player for that. All right. So if you can download Alien Strand, there extras on Patreon, and we'd really appreciate it. But until then, I wanted to bring this attention to you guys a little bit. I'll be having 2 new podcasts on Alien Strand Extras, and we'll be getting out that this week. All right. But until then, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening. I threw out some nice, cool UFO stuff today, and keep your eyes in the sky. Remember, if you're filming out the window, do not film inside the car, because all the glare, the glass, and everything, your dashboard lights is going to get in the way. It's not going to be an actual authentic kind of photo. If you can, pull over where it's nice and safe. Take your photo or take your video of whatever you're trying to catch in the sky. Okay. So we appreciate each and every one of you guys for sticking around for Alien Strand Extras. I couldn't thank you anymore. And like I said, everything you're giving to me, I'm giving right back. All right. So I really appreciate you guys, because you guys are who it's making this, right? It's making this happen. Without you guys, this wouldn't be happening right now. And it was getting ready to get shut down. So I'm trying to find different ways of trying to get it going, so that way we can keep this going a little longer. So that way some of you guys can get it for free, but there's going to be the paid subscription, which is going to help keep kind of, keep it balanced, right? Because we need that. But anyway, until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. Have yourselves a good night.
One, two.